Well, hello everyone, and welcome back for another discussion. Today I just wanted to talk a little bit about introversion. We probably won't get too in depth on this, but just do you know any introverts? Are you an introvert? I guess this is just a video for us. I don't know. Maybe extroverts want to hang around, and maybe you'll learn something about us. I don't know, but it's interesting that it's interesting how hard it seems sometimes to live in a social world. And even when I'm around other people that are introvert, I happen to be kind of a super extreme introvert. If you follow the Myers-Briggs types, I would be an INTP. As far as I understand about the only personality that really runs with me truly and how introverted I am is probably the INFP. So the INPs in particular seem to really like to sit around and reflect and think. And what's interesting is my dominant is introverted thinking. We've talked about this. My highest value is truth, and that aligns with the personality of INTP. Whereas the highest value of the INFP is feelings. So there's truth and feelings, and it's interesting. In my case, I don't know what it is for Myers-Briggs. There's a stack function, and actually my least valued thing is my feelings. And what's interesting about that is I get on here and talk about my feelings a lot, isn't it? But anyway, so that's like on a scale of introversion, the INPs seem to be pretty extreme. We really like a lot of alone time. We really have a hard time sustaining social contact. And I guess that kind of depends. Like social contact that is like in the wheelhouse of things that I really enjoy thinking about really just feels like extended thinking. And so it's kind of interesting. There are certain social situations where if we're sitting around talking about physics, or we're sitting around talking about psychology, or we're sitting around talking about, just anything that really is interesting to me, that doesn't really feel like a social situation. But when it's logistics, when it's just interacting, when it's just, I don't know, fun and laughter in the moment, drinking, games, or things of that nature, it's a real struggle. I try to keep up. I want to keep up, but I miss a lot of things because, I'm trying to self-regulate a lot. It's hard for me to understand what's going on sometimes. I'm not really interested in things like slang and a lot of pop culture. So I get lost a lot sometimes because of that. And it just all culminates into something more exhausting. And that creates a problem, right? Like I had a weekend where I went with 5 people on a vacation, and it was great. Don't get me wrong; it was absolutely magnificent. But just the car ride down there and the first night of eating, partying, cooking, all of that, and just dealing with that and playing some games that night, and I was exhausted, and I was so stressed that I didn't sleep well. I don't sleep well, and like in short stay places, the first night especially, I don't sleep well. And man, the next day I was just physically exhausted, and I was like socially tapped already. Like I'm the kind of guy that 3-4 hours of socialization, and I start struggling after that, and that's fine. Most of the time I go to somebody's game night. It's a few hours, no big deal. I, go out to, most events are just a few hours. I don't have to spend 10 hours with people most of the time. And so I just don't have, I don't have the musculature, so to speak, for that. I haven't flexed that muscle enough. It's not a thing that I've exercised in a very long time. And so I just really, really struggle with that. And so like that second day, I had to take a lot of time to myself. I did my best to try to interact with the group. I mean, we did play some games. We did go out and, go into a local town for a while. We went and, I tried to stay with the group, but honestly, I probably went to bed 4 or 5 hours earlier than they did. In part because I was exhausted. I took a nap in the morning because, that was the physical exhaustion. I needed the nap in the morning, but by the afternoon, they were going to play more games and whatnot. And I just wanted to go to bed. I wanted to be by myself. And then I got to deal with how that feels rude. Because in this case, I was invited to an all expense paid thing. It didn't cost me a one thin dime. And man, do I worry that what if what if I seem unappreciative, or what if I seem like I'm avoiding something like that? And the truth is I had a great time, because even when I went to bed early, I went up. We were out in a wonderful cabin. I had the door open. We were out in the middle of the woods. The weather was amazing, like 70, 73 degrees. It was absolutely amazing weather. We had wonderful nature around us, and just open doors, and just sleeping in a bed, and with an open, French door out to the world, listening to a river right back to the place we were staying. It was fucking phenomenal. And that was part of the experience I had by myself, because I needed to have some of those experiences with myself. And I need the time, just not socializing, not having to, I don't know, like there's just an energy about the exchange, a socialization that, that becomes an effort. And so I guess the reason I want to talk about introversion is because all of that is okay. No matter how psychotic I want to be, no matter how worried I am that I was, rude, that I was provided such a wonderful thing, and I really needed to find some alternate ways to manage my time, to manage and self-regulate, right? And even with that, it was hard. I wasn't perfect. Like things like that, you go together with people that you don't see but a few hours at a time, and you stay with them for a couple of days, and some frustrations will come out, or some like little disagreements. Like, I don't think there was nothing major that I was a part of, but there was just a couple of points I argued about a little bit of things that just didn't matter. And I don't know. It's one of those things. It was a sign to me that I'm exhausted. I'm socially tapped out, and I don't have the energy to regulate my emotions to the point of being able to treat everybody with, the way that I hold myself to. I always want to treat people the best that I can. And I definitely fell short, and it was an exhaustion thing. Right. And that's okay too. We're going to do that as humans. And, I don't know, anybody that I snapped at, I tried to do my best to own what I did, but at the end of the day, it is what it is, and I only have so much energy. So I guess that's an interesting lesson. One, like for introverts, all right, we're gonna have this, and we have to manage this, and we have to live in a world where we deal with that. And avoiding socialization it's a thing I've done, but it's not the answer, because just because I'm an introvert doesn't mean I don't want social time. It doesn't mean I don't want friends. It doesn't mean I don't value and want to maintain relationships. But it does mean I have limits. And that's okay. We all have limits. We all have different limits in different places. And I also think this is a useful message for extroverts who literally just do not understand a person that wants to sit around alone. Like, I don't know. I like being alone. I like being at peace. I like my peace and calm. I like thinking. I like all of those things that go with that. But it just becomes hard, right? Because we live in a world where we're unsure what degree somebody else might understand us. And that becomes a lonely, isolating feeling. And then it creates the pressure of, should I be socializing more? Which I probably did more than I should have. Because I didn't have to push myself to the point of exhaustion to where I did get a little bit rude, that once or twice. I mean, it's unnecessary, but the only way we're going to learn these limits is if we find them, right? The only way we're going to, teach each other about ourselves is by interacting. And at the end of the day, I think that's all we can do. So I guess I just make this because there's a hardship with being introverted, and that's okay. And it's easy to misunderstand an introvert, and that's okay too. And at the end of the day, we're all kind of going to have a difficult time understanding the parts of other people that don't match our experience or don't fit into our experience, because how would I, I don't know how to understand the extrovert mind. It's exhausting to go out and just be extroverted all the time. That to me, that's exhausting. And I don't know how to understand them. I can understand facts about them, but understanding that experience, why they would want that, I don't know. Anyway, I guess this was more of a I guess this is more of a moral sport. If you're an introvert, there's hardship out there. You're allowed to recharge your batteries. We've all got things we got to do, and sometimes we can't say no to all social things, but we don't have to submit to all forms of social peer pressure. We don't have to submit to all expectations. We don't have to be owned and ruled by what everybody else wants us to do. Because at the end of the day, something I love saying all the time is that you are the center of your universe. Nobody else has the power to control you except for you. Unless they want to do it physically. Like that's another animal, but like you are the center of your universe. The most important thing to you is to take care of you, because without taking care of you, there is no you doing for others. There is no extension from you if you are at a place that you're broken and failing. And so I guess this turns into more of a message of we need to recognize what we are. We need to be what we are. We need to live that. And despite our fears and insecurities about what other people might think about that, because make no mistake, everything I've talked about, the way that I'm worried that people see me, that is my insecurity. Because if they see me that way and that's a problem in our friendship, well, that kind of, don't they have to tell me? Like it's one of those situations that we get into. The communication is hard. It's another place that we can build these walls between each other by failing to understand each other, because we build resentment instead of just asking questions, or we build resentment instead of talking to somebody if we feel like they've been, rude to us or snubbed us, because a lot of times it just seems easier. Is that okay? I don't know. I'm not here to tell everybody what to do. I guess I have my perspective and I have the way I see it. And so at the end of the day, I find that taking care of myself is really the only thing I can do. And from that, if I can take care of others too, great. And if not, that's okay too, because my job is to get this body through this life. And if I can do that by helping over hurting, if I can do that with cooperation over competition, if I can do that with love over hatred, if I can do that leading with the greatest of concepts, then I'll find my place and I'll fill the voids that I run into. I'll have a place in where I end up. And so I guess it's an important message in how to not let our insecurities own us as well, because I could be insecure and I could try to avoid these people, I guess, or I could, I don't know, turn down offers, or I don't know. There's a lot of things I could do, but it would all be self-defeating, right? Because why would I assume that somebody had a problem with what happened if nobody felt the need to say anything about it? Because that's just my insecurities making assumptions. Well, anyway, I guess that went a little different than I thought it was going to go, but I think it is the message I wanted to deliver, that we do need to be ourselves, and we do need to, I don't know, rejuvenate and refresh ourselves. We need to experience what we are, and we need to live what we are, first and foremost, because we will be no good to anybody else unless we do that. Anyway, with that, I think I'm going to call this good. Until next time then, be well.